A very good evening to one and all gathered here. We'll be beginning shortly. Request all of you all to please take your seat forward. Good evening to one and all gathered here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to an intellectually enriching evening organized by the Citizens Council Mangaluru chapter. I am Monisha Shetty, your host for this evening, and I'm truly honored to stand before you as we gather for a powerful talk on a turning point in Indian democracy, the emergency of 1975. A time when the constitution bent, the press was silenced, civil liberties were curtailed, and democracy stood still. Today, we revisit those 21 months not just as a memory of the past, but as a mirror to reflect on our democratic present. Our speaker this evening is no stranger to these reflections. He's someone who has fearlessly written, spoken, and educated generations about the truths behind power and policy. The man, none other than Dr. Ratan Sharda ji. Welcome you, sir. To begin this evening with the blessings of the divine, I invite Srimati Akshata Shanoy to lead us into prayer. I request everyone to please rise.
गाये गणपति जगवंदन जगवंदन शंकर सुमन भवानी नंदन गाये गणपति जगवंदन जगवंदन सिद्धि सदन गज वदन विनायक कृपा सिंधु सुंदर सब लायक शंकर सुमन भवानी नंदन गाये गणपति जगवंदन जगवंदन.
Thank you for the beautiful prayer that set a peaceful and divine tone for the evening. Shubham karoti kalyanam, arogyam dhanasampada, shatrabuddhi vinashaya, deeparjyoti namostate. May I request our guest, Dr. Ratan Sharda ji, Dr. Satish Rao, accompanied by the members of Citizen Council, to kindly step forward for the lighting of the ceremonial lamp, symbolizing the triumph of light over darkness and knowledge over ignorance.
शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिः परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपज्योतिः परब्रह्म दीपज्योतिर्जनार्दनः दीपो हरतु मे पापं सन्ध्यादीपनमोऽस्तुते ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः ओ दीपब्रह्मरूपस्त्वं ज्योतिषां प्रभुरव्ययः आरोग्यं देहि पुत्रांश्च मतिं स्वच्छाहि मे सदा रवेरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदयो भवेत् रवेरस्तं समारभ्य यावत् सूर्योदयो भवेत् यस्य तिष्ठे गृहे दीपं तस्य नास्ति दरिद्रता शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, with great pride, we now escort our honored guest, Dr. Ratan Sharda ji, respected author, columnist, and thinker to the dais. May I request President of Citizens Council Mangaluru chapter to escort Sir onto the dais. Thank you, sir. To formally begin with the proceedings, I now invite the President of the Citizens Council Mangaluru chapter, Sri Vasudev Kamath, to deliver the welcome address and introduce our distinguished guest.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and enthusiasm that I stand before you to introduce the Citizens Council Mangaluru chapter. Started in the year 2013, Citizens Council is dedicated to promoting civic engagement on nationalistic issues, firmly believing that actively engaged citizens serve as the backbone of any thriving community. Through our various initiatives, we aim to inspire individuals to take a proactive role in shaping the future of our city. At the heart of our activities is a commitment to raising awareness, fostering dialogues, and facilitating discourse that educate citizens about their rights and responsibilities, ultimately empowering them to contribute meaningfully to our society. We have organized a series of impactful programs on topics such as rewriting Indian history, demonetization, uniform civil code, war against corruption and terrorism, and our recent talks include New India, the Rising Superpower by Major General G.D. Bakshi, Bharat and Sanatana, the Eternal Connection by Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, A Decade of Transformation by Shehzad Poonawalla, Commerce Policy for Future India presented by Srimati Nirmala Sitaraman, Civilization, Constitution and the Myth of Secularism by eminent lawyer J. Sai Deepak, to name a few. We extend a warm invitation to all the residents of Mangaluru to join us in our endeavors and become an integral part of the positive transformation taking place in our community and city. Together, let us build a future that reflects our shared values and aspirations. And today, we have in our midst Dr. Ratan Sharda, a well-known TV panelist, political analyst, and a public speaker. He has traveled widely in Bharat and over 25 countries overseas. He is involved in social activism, seva, and advising social service organizations. He has been awarded PhD for his research, understanding RSS through its resolutions with focus on Northeast, Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir. This thesis has been expanded and converted to a book, Conflict Resolution, the RSS Way. Out of his 10 books in English and Hindi, he has written 7 books on the Sangh and 1 on Guru Nanak Dev Ji in Hindi and English. His RSS 360, Demystifying Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, is considered the best primer and introduction to the organization. An RSS member since childhood, he has held various positions in the organization from the Shaka to the national level. Dr. Sharda has edited 16 books and translated 2 books on Sri Guruji written by renowned thinker and RSS Pracharak, Sri Rangahari. Sir is a functional consultant with varied experience in ERP and involved in software marketing and development as well as project management. Please welcome Dr. Ratan Sharda to our today's talk on Emergency 1975, Democracy Derailed. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. A warm welcome to you too. Before we proceed to the keynote talk, we have the honor of unveiling a significant literary contribution. We now invite our dignitary to come forward for the release of Bugilu. Bugilu means flame. 1975 ರಿಂದ 77ರ ತುರ್ತು ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ವಿರುದ್ಧ ಹೋರಾಟದ ಸತ್ಯಕತೆ. a chronicle of the nationwide struggle of the Indians against emergency rule of 1975 to 77, a book written to acknowledge the sweat, blood, and tears of all Indians who contributed towards uniting India. Thank you, sir. History, when told truthfully, becomes a light that guides democracy forward. It is now time to hear from a voice that does not just narrate history, he dissects it, challenges it, and bring it alive with conviction. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Ratan Sharda ji, fearless author and thinker, to deliver the keynote address on Emergency 1975, Democracy Derailed. Over to you, sir.
I'm a bit embarrassed to speak in front of Dr. Prabhakar, who has just come in. Namaskar to you. He's a veteran, so to speak before him is not easy. And he must have suffered a lot during emergency, as far as I know. First of all, thanks for the invitation for this wonderful platform. I'll first pay homage to son of Mangaluru, Lawrence Fernandez, who died a very torturous death with a broken mind and spirit due to tortures he faced in the prison. 10 to 12 policemen used to beat him together. So his death symbolized the brazen use of power and to suppress the dissent. I pay my tributes to Kannada star Snehata Reddy, who died within 4 days of being released because she had totally lost her mind. She used to scream in the prison and shout, and she didn't know what to do, and finally she died. And she was actually released because she was going to die. Of course, George Fernandez, son of Mangaluru, whose image carrying the shackles became a defiant movement for emergency. Before I start, I also bow to the valiant Swayamsevak and Sevikas of Mangaluru, who fought bravely, bearing torture, violence, and unbearable pain, but never caved in. Though we clapped the book that we saw, if you actually read, you'll cry. And one of the examples that I have is a pregnant Sevika, Srimati Narsamma Garudappa, she may be around, I don't know, in Mangaluru took part in Satyagraha and quoted arrest. Despite being pregnant, she was beaten black and blue. She was tied to the cot in hospital. That is how she delivered her baby. She was pregnant. And she was not a criminal. She was a respected household lady who just wanted to fight for democracy. That is how they treated the political prisoners. This is the period we remember today, and also salute valiant Swayamsevaks and other people who risk their lives, risk every kind of destruction of their business, their jobs, to restore democracy. It was not an easy job. This year we are remembering 50 years of emergency, and we would have succeeded but for RSS. I can say that very clearly, because Shivaram Karanth himself, again a great son of Karnataka, himself admitted that 90% of the political activists who were arrested, who did Satyagraha and took part in this struggle, belong to RSS. While talking about this, I will not talk much about dynastic politics and urge to take power, though that is very important, but to reduce it to dynastic politics actually is an insult, and also forgetting the lessons of emergency. I will break this talk down into 4 points. First is, one must watch out for signs of dictatorship. It is inherent in personality and organizations, and if you look at them carefully, you realize that this was something it didn't happen suddenly. This thought evolved over years and matured into emergency after so many years. Second point is, howsoever democratic we might be, howsoever strong the constitution be, but its acts can be used to suppress and destroy democracy. And third is, RSS, which was totally new to the underground movement, was able to fight the movement because for 19 months, not small period, because it was disciplined organization committed to do anything that was told to the Swayamsevaks to do, Fourth is the inherent democratic nature of our unwashed millions, who are very looked at or down upon by the politicians, the people who don't speak English, etc. But these are the people, their faith, inherent faith in democracy, the roots in Bharatiya soul and soil, which actually saw the restoration of democracy. Because they were the people who voted. And they absorbed everything happening over 19 years, 19 months, didn't go for propaganda. And lastly, eternal vigilance is price of liberty. So we should not, this guard should never be dropped. And Jana Prabodhan, as we say, talking to people and educating them is one of the surest ways of keeping this danger away. To begin with, how this thing traces, how this science of totalitarianism comes slowly up. For example, Nehruji was a nominee of Gandhiji, not elected, but chosen. So I could say it was a benign dictatorship of Gandhiji, but today I don't want to divert that discussion. But his commitment, Gandhiji's commitment to Ram Rajya, to Panchayati Raj, was totally rejected by Nehru. He talked about Ram Rajya, he said that I don't agree with that, way back in 1928, and I don't want even to talk about that in future. When Gandhiji wrote to him saying, what about Panchayati Raj? Because decentralized power was his dream. So he told, and he asked him whether he read his Hindu Swaraj, where he talks about Panchayati Raj. So Nehruji wrote back saying that I didn't read it. I read it that time. I could not understand it. I don't understand it even now, and I have no time to put it in place because we are in a hurry to have a constitution. So that is how you look at democracy, because that was the basic regards to democracy that we have learned for thousands of years. And again, if you look at the first amendment, that is freedom of press, that was done by Nehruji because there was articles in Organizer Weekly and in some other magazines which he didn't like. First person to be arrested was RSS person K.R. Malkani for fighting this particular oppression and being jailed. Not only that, Nehruji also arrested Majroor Sultanpuri, a great poet, because he wrote a film song which was critical of the government. Then there was this Gandhian Dharampalji, whose books are very popular now, whose books were removed from the bookshelves because they gave evidence based on British documents that how India's science and technology is very advanced, how we were number one power in economics, but also industry, education. He talked about education of India, where there are examples that we had the best possible education system. He was also arrested because he criticized Nehru. So this is when the seeds are sown. We must be careful. Now Indiraji enters with Nehru in 1950. She says in Kenya, if there is no opposition, it will be easier to empower India and remove poverty and illiteracy. So thinking is 1950. In 1959, when she was appointed the president of Indian National Congress, first act she did was dismiss the Kerala government, which was a left government for the first time. It is also notable that Shri Guruji, the Sarsangachal at that time, did not like the idea of dismissing a democratically elected government. He was asked to express his opinions because BJP, Bharatiya Janasangh at that time, was also supporting this move, also highlighting the failure of the leftist government. But Guruji wrote back saying, I don't want to opine because Bharatiya Janasangh and you have started to opine yourself, but I am against this because this is not suitable for democracy. But Sangh was called fascist. In 1971, you have Maintenance of Internal Security Act. Before this also, I would like to remind that same leftist Communist Party supported emergency despite being dismissed under their democratic elected government. So in 1971, Maintenance of Internal Security Act, which basically meant you could be arrested, you could be without any trial, you could not go to court for unlimited time. That is a clause which was used in emergency to arrest nearly 35,000 people, 90% of course RSS people, who were held in jails for 21 months, 19 months without any trial, without any hearing, no habeas corpus, nothing. Now A.N. Ray was appointed as Chief Justice of India in April 1973. He superseded 3 Supreme Court judges because Indiraji wanted a Supreme Court judge will be suitable to her. At 1973, why did she need such a Chief Justice, we don't know. But ex-communist turned congressman Mohan Kumar Mangalam justified this move saying that judiciary and executive should have same views to avoid clashes. So the commitment, the phrase of committed judiciary was coined in 1973, not in 1975. In 1974, before imposition of emergency, operation had already started. Operation of press with large number of aggressive actions against the press. So I'll give you some examples of 74, not of 75, because after that, of course, the huge operation. In 1974, before imposition of the emergency, the newspaper Tribune, its van was attacked. Two editors, Shankar Lai and Shivnarayan Sharma, lost their lives in violence. Malayalam Manorama editor was attacked. Amrit Bazar Patrika editor was given threat of life. A journalist Banda was paraded with shackles on his handcuffs in the market for publishing a story which Congress didn't like. So look at the progression of this dictatorial tendency. In 14th February 1975, before emergency, Indira Gandhi noted, some countries have given up democracy to implement important policies. It is correct, because for progress of the nation, creating foundation is very important. If there is no foundation, progress is not possible. So, and she justified those who suspended democracy to create foundation of a good economy. So these are the tendencies I'm talking about. In April 1974, AICC passed a resolution condemning RSS for all kinds of fake charges. Siddharth Shankar Ray prepared a draft to ban RSS on 8 January 1975, before June, and wrote to Indira Gandhi to pass an ordinance to ban RSS. You have your good friend here in Karnataka trying to do the same thing now. So they have a history of this. And media got the air of it, there was a lot of noise and it was stopped. In April 1975, when anti-corruption movement was at a peak, Gujarat elections happened, opposition won the election, and during the same time, in June 12, Indira Gandhi ji was disqualified as an MP. She was allowed to work, but she was not allowed to vote in the Lok Sabha, nor take salary, nor work there. So all this together finally saw the emergence of emergency, but the totalitarian tendency has evolved over a period of time, as you note, for nearly 60 years before the actual action takes place. The point too is that it's not difficult for a dictator or fascist to twist the constitution to weaken and destroy a well-running democracy. The clauses present in constitution for rare situations which are treated as exception can be used by unscrupulous political leaders. Section 352 was picked up by Siddharth Shankar Ray, and he advised Indira Gandhi to impose internal emergency, which is different from external emergency, which is generally imposed during wartime. And with this appointment, judges also got the right signals how to behave, and brute majority was used to manipulate the constitution. So many laws are made. We know about amendment of 42nd amendment. A lot of people are talking about it now. So how does it happen? Will Durant wrote long back about destruction of any civilization. He talked about Islamic conquest, but then we can take it in any sense, because science remains same. Islamic conquest of India is probably the bloodiest story in the history. Now the important part, it is discouraging tale, for its evident moral is that civilization is a precious good, whose delicate complex of order and freedom, culture and peace can at any moment be overthrown by barbarians invading from without and multiplying within. Now look at the situation today, what is happening in India, and you will realize how prophetic it is. And we can see that how the stage was set over years. The Supreme Court bench obliged Indira Gandhi again for the emergency, and it also agreed that there is no right to life as per Attorney General of Government of India. So the constitution was used to obliterate constitution. It was obliterated for the Indian people for even right to life. And this ruling was used by police to threaten people who were arrested and actually beat them up to pulp, because they knew nothing could be done because Supreme Court said so. So it brings me to the point why these barbarians have perpetrated untold, unheard atrocities on simple political prisoners and innocent citizens. This is the tale of unimaginable cruelty and violence against our own people that proved that emergency was imposed with other ulterior motives to finish off any opposition, an idea that was germinating for a long time. Now I'll talk about atrocities during emergency. The book that has been released talks about atrocities in Karnataka, but it happened all over India. D.K. Baru, the Congress president of India's Indira fame, by speaking to youth Congress workers, the stormtroopers of Sanjay Gandhi, said, we want to destroy RSS completely. They should not be able to organize again. Again, reflections you see in Karnataka today. This is not the first time. Before the fateful 30 January 1948, Nehru's loyalists were thirsting for RSS blood. In September 1947, Maharashtra Congress leaders had passed a resolution that warned their own government to ban RSS or, quote unquote, we will use our 1942 methods to destroy it. But BG Kher was very sagely, he said, don't make all these foolish mistakes. You cannot destroy an organization like this. Then Nehruji, just about 2 weeks before Gandhi's assassination, said, I will crush RSS. And he said that why I will crush RSS, because RSS had disrespected constitution. It does not believe in constitution. Remember, in 1948 there was no constitution. Constituent Assembly had just started working. So how could RSS insult or stop constitution is a question that we should ask. And then there were cases against RSS Swayamsevaks in UP, communal riots and all that. They lost the case, but effort was on to stop any sane voice. We know how 1984 Sikh clinics took place. Congress, so just like that, 1984 and 1948, after Gandhiji's assassination, Congress goons killed hundreds or thousands, we don't even know the figure. Some people 8,000, some people say hundreds. Brahmins and Swayamsevaks killed, burnt their properties, destroyed their homes on the pretext of Gandhiji's killing. As D.P. Mishra admitted later in his biography that Congress people took advantage of Gandhiji's assassination to wreak revenge on RSS during that time. One can fill volumes about cataloging the atrocities perpetrated by Indira Gandhi's government and her commanders, from Bansilal, Vidyacharan Shukla and all those people. Major torture-obsessed states were Madhya Pradesh, Karnataka, Kerala, Delhi, Punjab, UP, Haryana and Maharashtra. The force of police saw many Karyakartas going hungry for days together, but they used to go to home to take food. That home would be shut because there were police around it. So they would go back hungry because they couldn't go to any place they liked. Just like this book, there is a book in Hindi called Apatkalin Sangharsha Gatha, 1907 to 1977. It is basically compiled by P.G. Sahasrabudhe and Manikchand Vajpayee, who gathered authentic records, and they found that with what they got confirmation, 106 people died in prison for lack of medical attention, for lack of medicines, and refusal to grant bails even to sick people. And out of this, Pandurang Pant Kshirsagar was the biggest name in RSS, topmost leadership person right from the founding of the RSS. He also lost his life because he was not given medicines. A Sarvodaya leader, Prabhakar Sharma, wrote a letter to Indira Gandhi on 11th October 1976, criticizing her for emergency and ending all human rights, and told her that he will self-immolate himself in protest on a given date. None cared. Finally immolated himself on 14th December 1976. We don't even know of this incident. Since the stories are too many, I will just summarize the method of committing atrocities and violence. They have been recorded in Shah Commission and also by these writers I just noted. And you can understand what people went through. I'll give the just list of the atrocities. Abusing prisoners for hours with choicest abuses, galiyan. Simplest way, and police have ton weight of abuses. Stripping prisoners naked and perpetrating atrocities like burning their bodies with lit up cigarettes and candles, swinging them like fan tied like a bow from the ceiling, pushing lathis in their private parts, putting chilies in private parts, or keeping a strip of cloth soaked inside them in petrol. I'm sorry for the ladies to ever listen to all this, but you must listen because you know what is the Rakshasi Pravritti. Making them stand in the open in wintry nights without any clothes and throwing cold water on them continuously. Making them sit upright, tied on the chair for hours, uprooting nails with pincers, giving electrical shocks, hanging them upside down on trees and beating them relentlessly. Making prisoners lie down naked and jumping on him or her with nailed shoes, running rollers over them, pulling hair, banging their heads on the walls, beating the sole of the feet with lathis till blood came out, making them crawl on their buttocks, making them stand in position of Z for hours, squeezing testicles of the prisoner hard to make him scream in pain. An innovative torture in Kerala was they called dog pull, tying two naked victims back to back, making them sit in a squatting position, holding hands, below their bottoms, so they had to rub and hurt each other's private parts. A large number of victims were never officially arrested. They were tortured, and when it seemed they will die, they would be thrown on the railway tracks or on the crossings. Estimated 10,000 victims gave their testimonies to Shah Commission, and I don't know how many thousands actually faced these situations. Many families lost their job, their businesses were taken over. People used police to wreak revenge on their enemies or their supposed people with their animosity, taking away their land, taking their business. All this is just a summary of what happened. When you read the book, you'll understand it is a mindset. Because a political prisoner should have been arrested, put in jail like I was, I didn't face any atrocity in Mumbai. But something more happened because there is this what we call Rakshasi Pravritti, not allowing the opposition in any case. So crushing opposition wise, which I gave details how the mindset worked. So that is what was happening. Struggle against emergency and how democracy is reclaimed is another very encouraging thing that how it happened. So I am aware that the audience here does not speak and read Hindi, but I would like Rashtratan Parishad to translate this Apatkalin Sangharsha Gatha in English or Kannada for people to read because it's a lesson. 90% of the struggle against emergency was run by underground by RSS and its Karyakartas. And we will wonder how after so many atrocities still RSS people worked, how they didn't give up. Because the commitment was there. I was also fortunate to have witnessed history in the making. I used to take the senior adhikaris to Baitak. The first Baitak took place in Mumbai in a flat, and we used to take them to the Baitak place, take them back, and some were wearing wigs, some were wearing English suits, some were wearing rustic dhotis, so you are not recognized. There was a call to offer Satyagraha all over Bharat by Lok Sangharsh Samiti, which Sangha too was a member. However, as per Raju Bhaiya, the fourth Sarsangha Chalak's memoirs, Sangha the guys told the top leadership that wait, we will first take an estimate how many people will quote arrest. And Sangha came with a figure of 70,000. And finally, the number of people who quoted arrest during Satyagraha of 14 November to 26 January was about 70,000 plus. And surprisingly, the next group of people who were in the jail after RSS and allied organizations was Akali Dal and Jai Gurudev Sampradaya, not any opposition party. Because they have leaders, they have no followers, they have no cadre, and nor are they fond of jails. Apart from these, thousands had been picked up on mere suspicion for being RSS Karyakarta and Pracharaks. Now, because Sangha Pracharaks are not conspicuous public figures, out of 1356 Pracharaks at that time, only 189 were arrested. And those are the people who actually ran this entire underground movement. Of course, despite hunger, despite having no place to stay, finding new places to stay, it could be any place. And out of 35,000 political leaders and Karyakartas arrested under MISA, and 1 lakh people arrested either under Defense of India rule or as per Satyagraha, they were from RSS. Indira Gandhi was very upset. For low number of arrest of RSS people, she complains, as Ajubhaiya noted, to the police officers that why only 10% of people whom she listed were arrested. They said we don't even know who is RSS leader because we have no photograph. They go and stay as uncles and mamas and chachas with the families, and we can't recognize by the time we go there. They are already gone. So how do we arrest them? Here he says the importance of family organization that RSS has. Raju Bhai always said that RSS is a family organization. It is not a social, cultural or any kind of organization, it's family organization. So importance of family was understood during emergency when every member of the family stood up against this emergency and worked together. There are cases of father going to jail, then son following, husband going to jail, then wife, sister going with brother for Satyagraha. This was the morale of the people. And for Sangha people, they never differentiated between Sangha and non-Sangha families. DMK was surprised when RSS themselves even went to their families to check their well-being and take care of their families. The organized strength of RSS, what is the strength? It's discipline, training to work under any circumstances and work as per instructions. Their brotherly affectionate approach, which I just talked about, these are the strength of RSS Karyakartas doing work during emergency. A small anecdote I remember, one of senior RSS volunteers supposed to be stay out and take care of families, would visit a family where the elder son was a satyagrahi and jailed. Younger son was sent to jail under Misa because he tried to create, he was there in the college when I was arrested and the college was, there was strike in the college. So this poor person, he was studying in IIT, he was thrown under Misa. Husband and wife, one was working for Rashtra Sevika Samiti, husband was working for a teachers union. So when he used to go and meet them just to commiserate, one day the mother told him, see, I have two sons already in the jail. I don't want my third son to go to jail. So please don't visit us. We'll take care of ourselves. This is the dedication we talk about. Now, before the actual satyagraha took place, there were also spontaneous satyagrahas in Delhi. Immediately after emergency, thousands of people would turn up. There would be no police. Then they would again give satyagraha. They would be arrested. And there was total support from the people. There are a lot of innovative satyagraha. I will not talk about normal satyagraha. During Commonwealth Nations meeting in Delhi, satyagrahis were able to be present in different corners of the meeting hall. One would rise, start throwing pamphlets, giving slogans like Bharat Mata Ki Jai, release political prisoners and all that. Police would go to one end, another end, somebody else would stand up. At the end of this program, every Commonwealth person had a pamphlet in his hand, what is happening in India. Again in Red Fort, similar program, again it was disrupted by people, and of course when they were caught, they were beaten black and blue because they disrupted Mrs. Gandhi's program. In Jaipur, a satyagrahi entered All India Radio booth of commentary, picked up the microphone and gave slogans about, releasing political prisoners, stopping dictatorship. He was arrested, of course, but that was the kind of work he did. And sometimes the satyagrahis, when they were not arrested, they would go again because police didn't know there was a satyagraha. So sometimes they went 3 times to get arrested. They didn't say satyagraha ho gaya, ghar jayenge. No, they stood up and they got arrested. Even Indira Gandhi was not spared. Her birthday in Raebareli was disrupted when she was coming there with a fake funeral procession. Then pamphlets were thrown. Then the supposed body was burnt in front of her car caravan. Similarly, it was also disrupted in Delhi. And so there are so many such cases. So within a year, slowly the atmosphere changed. People started beginning beyond discipline, beyond trains running in time, and seeing what's happening. Of course, mass sterilization took place. Now the figures are about 50 lakhs to 1 crore people are sterilized forcibly. Some died also. And there were atrocity news, thousands of structures are bulldozed. And slowly these things came in the mind of the people. Most of the local body elections are won by opposition. Bar elections were won by the opposition. When this 42nd amendment was brought, government very grandly said that we will have debate. So there are hundreds of meetings where people appeared, lawyers appeared, and there was big debates. So people had awoken. In fact, Narendrajit Singh, a senior RSS worker who was Sanghchalak at that time, he won the election sitting in jail. So that is how much people are awakened, but somehow Congress didn't get the message because they were all in very arrogant mood. There was also a critical role played by RSS Swayamsevaks outside Bharat. So they created an organization called Friends of India Society International. They were very strong in UK, USA, but the programs took place in 45 countries. So wherever there were Indians, they had rallies, they had programs. When any minister was sent to those countries to talk about emergency, he would be crowded by the questions and they would run away. Sometimes one minister went and did some Ram Puja and came back. So nobody dared take any meeting there. Then there was Subramanian Swamy, Makarand Desai, and many Karyakartas who went on TV, went on radio, they were interviewed. So slowly the news spread and international pressure started building up. And Indira Gandhi realized that she needs to have legitimacy. The foreign powers also went on pressurizing her. And IB unfortunately told her that everything is fine and she will, win the election. But during the same time, Raju Bhaiya met Rajni Kothari, who is a great educationist. And Rajni Kothari very pessimistically asked him, what is happening? Will we ever get freedom, or this will be a permanent feature? We will never come out of it. All these political people had the same thought. But Raju Bhaiya told him that I am not a politician, but I move in the people. And I can tell you Congress will not win a single seat in North India. And she will score very badly in even southern part of India. He said, are you mad? What are you talking about? You are a physics professor. You should talk sense. He said, this is based on my own reading. And of course, you know, when the election took place, what happened. But it was not very easy. Politicians were very pessimistic. People are very afraid even now. And when we started setting in political booths, I was also there as a young person. Booths would be empty. Only RSS people were sitting there. Some Jansangh people are not in jail. They would be sitting there. But nobody else turned up. But slowly, we could see over a period of time, the fear went. Slowly, the polling offices getting filled up with hundreds of people doing nothing, coming, gossiping, having talks, having tea, with no purpose, just the confidence that yes, we are going to defeat this lady. We started a cycle rally with, we said 200-300 people will come like our Swayamsevaks. By the time the cycle rally reached their destination, there were 2,000-3,000 cycles on their own. So this is the situation when the election took place. And of course, we know that Janata Party won the election and not got beyond how they failed, but how democracy returned back. Now, the most important point is that inherent nature of democratic DNA in the Bharatiyas. That is what triumphed, not just RSS work, not just foolishness of the Congress people at that time, but the elite of Lieutenant Delhi and their Desi satraps have a kind of low opinion of unwashed millions of Bharatiyas. They feel that they understand nothing, they can be fooled with propaganda and promises, they have no interest even in educating them. However, history has shown time and again that the native wisdom, their roots in our ancient civilization, their deep faith in democracy, running through ages-old panchayat system, which even British could not destroy totally, the history of democratic institutions starting from panchayat to Ganarajyas of Vedic times and Lachavi state, they are deeply embedded in their collective psyche. So when they see that their democratic rights are being taken away and they are not able to function, they react. There is an example of Uttar Merur in Tamil Nadu, where they have stone inscriptions how democracy worked in that particular area. So we have very deep and very strong tradition of democracy. That is what won. They vote more intelligent than the urban people. They are not taken into this free gifts and all. They stood with satyagrahis, protected underground leaders, and Karyakartas took care of victims' families and stood up in the election when it counted. Rajubhaya notes in his memoirs that if we keep educating people and telling them the truth, propaganda cannot win. So do not give up. Have trust in your fellow beings. Keep working steadfast. Ultimately, propaganda will lose. This, in short, is the new story how we Bharatiyas overcame dark period of dictatorship and saved Bharat from dictatorship. So I gave a concise, very small talk so you can raise questions and ask questions. I see most of the people here have not seen emergency. They have not even read about it. And people ask, why you talk about emergency after 50 years as a gone case? When people can talk about atrocities of Hindus thousands of years back and they have to pay for that. When they talk about what RSS spoke in 1939 and penalize RSS for that. Naturally, when they destroyed the institutions, how did it happen? As I indicated in the earlier part of the lecture, how these things happen slowly. So if we are very careful how things change, we'll be able to trace the entire sequence, how the mindset of these political parties work, where they don't want democracy, they only talk about democracy, they want totalitarian regime as soon as they get a chance. For example, when today we have opposition parties saying ban this, ban that, court doesn't know anything, so we must take action, we must, oppress these people, the people who don't speak our language. So this kind of mindset is the real danger to Bharat. But we as Indians are so well entrenched in democratic values that we will fight back. So I am sure that when the attempt is done to behave similarly by any party, people will again rise. We have a democratic country and we have gone through various cycles of oppression and freedom, and we'll rise again. But fortunately, I think many of the constitutional provisions are changed when Janata Party came to power. So this play is not very easy now for the political parties to bring back that kind of fascism. It will come on the back door. Even now people are arrested for giving no reason. They are not produced before courts. People even now get killed. But we have to be conscious. That's why I said that vigilance is the eternal price we pay for democracy. Dhanyavad.
Thank you, sir, for walking us through the whole 21 months of emergency, not just 21 months, but beyond that, especially stressing on the repercussions our Swayamsevaks had to face because of the emergency, fighting against the emergency. Thank you, it was definitely an eye-opener. Now it's time for the most awaited session, answering the queries of the audience. First question is by Dr. Ajay Bhattu. What would you like to tell people who say emergency is now a forgotten chapter after 50 years? Sir, if you're among the audience, request you to please stand. Dr. Ajay Bhattu.
I think he was interested only in raising a question, not getting an answer.
Moving ahead to the next question.
I think I already answered that question in my speech at the end, that we must learn lessons from history or we might repeat the history. So history repeats itself, first as a tragedy, then as a farce. So to be on the watch, how these things take place, that is the reason I went through the entire sequence. And we have to be watchful. And so we must learn from history and see to it that it's not repeated. That's why we have to remember. And this also gives us confidence in our own people that they will stand up when required.
Thank you, sir. The next question is by Mr. Manjunath Kamath. Hello, my question is about, can something like emergency be brought into effect by any government in India again? What does the constitution tell about this? So if you are among the audience, request you to please stand.
I think I also covered that question actually, because there are always some provisions in the constitution for very rare occasions, for very rare happenings, but they can be twisted and used by any ruler, and such things can happen. The style may change, the format of the message may change, but controlling the freedom of the people and having unshackled power is a natural tendency of politicians. So this can happen. That's why I said we must study and see to it that these things don't happen.
Thank you, sir. The podium is open for the audience. Audience, anybody is interested in asking questions?
Hello, good evening. So, shouldn't we have a truth and reconciliation kind of thing like Nuremberg trials, where all these things are discussed in parliament or some session and punish all those people who have perpetrated all these crimes, so that these things won't happen again?
See, when Shah Commission was formed, it was formed so that people know what is the truth and how it can be avoided. Unfortunately, that was disrupted by Indira Gandhi's son Sanjay Gandhi through his stormtroopers. All the copies of Shah Commission report were destroyed. Only 3 copies are left. 1 copy was saved by Era Sejian of DMK. So that is how the report was kept alive. Now there are books like this that we just released, and the books like what I talked about, who have documented this history. That is a smaller part, because truth is out anyway. There is so much of communication today, so much of information available. So you have those figures. When you talk about Truth and Reconciliation Commission, I would go to the extent of even about historical happenings, not 500 years back, but during, for example, during partition, during the pre-partition days, what exactly happened, who passed the partition bill, or what kind of atrocities it faced, or Truth and Reconciliation Commission about the different phases of history. History which leftists change from what historians like R.C. Majumdar, etc. wrote, and created a different kind of history, giving it a Marxist twist of everything is a class struggle, and atrocities are being whitewashed. And on the other side, where the actual evidence is available of the kind of atrocities that our society had to face. So they have to be reconciled. What is the real truth? It's not your truth versus my truth. It is there in the evidence, whether it's Islamic documents, original documents, whether it's documents of British, with his documents which were searched and found out by the historians. So a lot of people are writing these days. So we need that to be clarified. So it cannot be either a secular or leftist history where there was no atrocity, or atrocities are just because they were kings, not atrocities because we differed with them, because we refused to bend, we refused to be rescued from hell. So all these things need to be put together to see what the actual history is. And that is when you say, why are you blaming Muslims of this time, or why Hindus are crying today? That has to be brought up, where you say, okay, because this happened, somebody has to accept that this happened, and then we can move ahead. In history, it has happened. It happened in Europe also, after World War also. We also need the reconciliation where people say, okay, this far, now we know what happened, let's move ahead. By hiding, by whitewashing, by putting those issues under the carpet, you can never have peace, because these are all excuses. So these have to be understood.
Adding to that, hello, can we have something like an emergency museum, sir, where all these things what happened were pictorially kept and documented, so that the future generation also can study about this? Like now in Goa, there is a nice museum where it's interactive museum. So if all these things can be documented, then the future generation also can study all this.
Yeah, definitely. See, we have very poor, I would say, tradition of museums. We have not kept them well, or we have not preserved them, nor is there any habit of going to museums. Schools hardly take the kids once in a while, not regularly. We don't go to museums. Museums are necessary, they are also part of our history. That is why Taliban destroyed the museums first of all in Afghanistan, because that they had history. So they reflect history. So as many museums are possible, as many exhibitions are possible, they should be done. Interestingly, there was an exhibition in Mumbai where the sacrifice of Sikh gurus were exhibited. So police came and stopped the exhibition, saying it creates bad blood. So we have this our own fears, our own refusal to accept the truth.
Namaste, sir. Myself, Father Shade. So my question to you is that now, as we know that emergency in 1975, there are many number of leaders who had participated against the emergency, and even they were jailed for it too. But my question to you is that during that time, how was the atmosphere of the college students? How did they participate during the emergency? And were there any like student organizations which were aggressively participating in the against the emergency? I'm not speaking about the ABP, but the other student organizations. How was the atmosphere, sir? Thank you.
Of course, ABP was leading the charge. ABP was not banned. So people like me who are part of Sangha Karyakarta, they became part of ABP. They fought elections in the student union. We were most carefree. We took part in underground activities. We were distributing pamphlets. We were offering satyagraha. In my college itself, every week there was a satyagraha. So police van would already there, fearing that there will be another satyagraha today. So they never cared. They never worried at all. Youth are not worried always. So youth are the vanguard of revolution. That is the reason. And we carried the revolution at that time. And there are, of course, Marxist Communist Party student union was there. There was Chhatra Parishad created during JP's movement. Some people from there also, Sarvodaya people. But major chunk, ABP.
Sir. Good evening, sir. So to the question that after emergency, after 1977, after the Janata Party government came, there is a part of it that says that Morarji Desai actually didn't want a trial of Indira Gandhi or that sort, whereas there was other side of Charan Singh led in the Janata Party government itself, which wanted one. So why do you think there was no mutual consensus in the Janata Party to take an action against Indira Gandhi for what she did during the emergency?
Well, actually, when the emergency ended and Balasaheb Devrasji, the Sarsang Chakle that time was released, his statement was forgive and forget. Forget and forgive. Similar to what Guruji said after 1948 ban was lifted. He said, when your teeth bite your tongue, you don't break your teeth. There are people. So by getting into vengeful mood, we will only spoil the atmosphere. So we should not do that. But there are politicians in Janata Party who wanted that vengeance. So they had Shah Commission, but it was not done very well. Honestly, all this business of arrest and of Indira Gandhi was not done properly. There was no preparation for it. So when the Sanjay Gandhi goons attacked Shah Commission, there was no reaction, there was no arrest, and they had a free hand. So either you take it through properly or you don't do it. Sanghavi was okay, let it be. But they wanted something. There is no question of Morarji versus others. On vengeance or, taking revenge or taking action on what was anti-democratic, they had all the same mindset. But only thing is, it was not done with proper preparation and finesse. That's my view of that time. So that is why ultimately nothing came of it. In fact, Indira Gandhi got publicity because of her arrest. She was released because they didn't prepare the papers good enough. They could not stick the charges to her about violence and about atrocities. There was not enough documentation before it happened.
I am Dr. Diwakar Rao. I have one question, sir. In today's day and age, with communications being so rapid and widespread and easy, is it possible that we can again go back to an era of emergency? Is it possible? I'm just
already
wondering.
responded to that. Whatever, see, ultimately there are millions of people showing thumbs and downsize on the on WhatsApp or on social media. When you call for a meeting or call for a protest, how many people turn up? So ultimately, these things are decided when you hit the streets. We are in such a comfort zone today, which was not there earlier when earlier emergency came. You have to leave that comfort. To leave your iPad or notepad or your mobile on the side and go on the road. We are comfortable protesting inside our homes. That was not so at that time. You have to hit the roads. So to say that in today's rapid communication it is possible to stand against emergency, I don't think so. Struggle will be as difficult. Whether it's Congress or Congress people will say, okay, BJP journalists who are arrested, how many people stand up for them? When urban Naxals are picked up, or those who support them, they stand up and they go to the courts. How many of our people have gone to courts to protect the policemen who are harassed in the name of civil liberties? Or how many people went to courts when 4,000 cases were filed in Punjab after Khalistan movement was finished? Policemen are going to courts regularly, attending all these human rights records, and the human rights people are quiet all these days. How many people supported policemen? RSS passed a resolution supporting the policemen. KPS Gill cried buckets. He was very angry. Nothing happened. He quoted a share which will be, I don't remember the quote now, basically said, why have you given birth to me in this nation which is full of eunuchs? So, technology will not change mindset. Technology will help us spread the message like we used to send, spread pamphlets, which is very difficult compared to your WhatsApp and all. Now you look at Turkey, look at other states where they shut the internet down. We also shut the internet down in areas there are disturbances. So ultimately, it's the person who will change the situation on the road, at home, not just technology. That's my view.
We can take the last one question.
Good evening, sir. Breaking India agenda is quite often including some of the parliamentarians in India. What's your view on that? It still exists. They're covertly and inwardly doing it.
I couldn't hear you, public. Can you come a little bit? Speakers face you, not me, so I can't listen.
Yeah, can you hear me, sir?
I can hear. Just speak a little slowly and loudly.
Okay. Breaking India agenda is quite a lot of politicians, especially the parliamentarians, directly and indirectly involved in that. Why we are allowing them or do something else on that? What is your opinion on that?
See, it is not question of allowing them. They play with the law. They use constitution to break constitution. So the people who are arrested go to courts. For example, loudspeaker removed from a place of worship in Mumbai during last 1 month. And because they did not have permissions, 99% people didn't have permission. They removed loudspeakers of temples and mosques also. Of course, major violators of mosques. Now they have gone to court saying that it is discrimination. We are not doing this to others also. And court accepted the petition. Right? Why? It's a noise pollution, simple case. There's no religion involved. If you say, okay, there are 10 more places, get them also remove the loudspeakers. But they've gone to the courts. When a rapist is released because he started eating namaz 5 times a day, what can the government do? When a Naxal gets to police, gets to court and he gets bail, what do you do? So there is a disconnect between the people and the judiciary or the police. There are laws which can be misused, and Islamists have been able to infest the so-called leftist movement, woke movement, claiming to be oppressed. So all these people have used democratic norms, constitutions to overcome democracy. So to either you negate democracy to all of them, which you cannot, or you have courts which can see through this game, where such games are immediately caught on. So somebody, in some places, courts do, shout down the person who brings in such a amendment or goes with PIL, etc. They find also those people. But somewhere they can go through the crack. When the courts can be opened with pressure at midnight to give, give clemency to terrorists. So you are fighting this kind of battle on many fronts. Battle of the mind, narratives, battle of media, judiciary either not understanding or not worried about implications of many of the judgments on law and order, on terrorism. So that is the issue. So what happens? Public pressure builds up. So some courts change their stance. By the time the court goes from lower court to higher court, judges realize there is a lot of anger. But the law is there. Supreme Court decided that 12-year-old vehicles will be stopped. Okay, the NGT gave an application. Government didn't react to it. It went to court. 40 lakh vehicles were de-licensed, or 4 lakh, I don't remember. Today only, so in 2018. Now they say petrol nahi milega after 15 years of the car or 12 years of diesel engine. Where does a retired person go? Where does a middle class person who bought one car with lot of difficulty go? Why can't they say car condition should be good? There should be PUC control, so you have a good check on the car and let the car run. That is what so far it happened. But it is not happening. Government is not reacting. So what does the person do? Somebody will hit the streets. So what is the lesson to the people? Those who hit the street get justice. Those who are on the social media showing thumbs up and thumbs down or angry face, they don't get justice. So message is wrong, but that is what people are saying. There is no voice. I can't listen.
That means quite a lot of illegitimate leaders in our parliament. Do you agree with me, sir?
There is no illegitimate leader. We make them.
Yes.
We make those leaders.
Yes, quite a lot of.
Right?
Quite a lot of.
We vote or we don't go to vote.
Quite a lot of.
No leader can win in this country. Even Indira Gandhi lost. Remember? And who again elected them? The same people. So somewhere the people who won did not understand people's mandate. And somewhere when you choose people who are abusing your faith, your religion, they win the election, they form government, they still abuse you, and you take it lying down because you want to vote on the caste basis, you want to vote on certain narrow interest, then don't blame politicians. In this country, luckily, so far you have to win the election. And we are the people who let them win, right? So don't blame system. We are the system.
I don't blame anybody because I'm a senior citizen like you.
Right.
But till date, I'm not seen an electoral on. I don't have a voter's card, even voter's ID, and not even both. So I will say that more than 50% of the politicians in India are traitors.
I would not call traitors, that's a very strong word. Traitors are very small numbers. Corrupt, yes. Traitors, no. You say every corrupt person is traitor, that's a different statement. It's your statement. I don't go with it. They are traitors of the people, not of the nation. Because even corrupt politicians get roads made, right? You got wonderful RCC road across Mangalore. I don't know how much corruption it took place, but you got roads. So they will get the votes. So problem is us. We don't want to go to vote. We don't want to check a voter's ID. We don't want to punish somebody who's insulting you 5 years continuously. Still you vote for the person. Why are you calling them corrupt? We are corrupt morally. Right?
Thank you, sir, for
It
taking
is
those
not question individual. As a society, we have this wrong mindset that मैं नहीं करूँगा कोई और करेगा. शिवाजी होगा किसी और के घर में होगा. मैं करप्शन करूँगा वो नहीं करना चाहिए. I will break the law. He should not break the law. So you enter the one way claiming that it is nothing will happen. Then somebody stands in front of you. You say, you idiot, it's a one-way street. So we have to change. Ultimately, democracy runs on people. That's how we fought democracy. You know, that is the lesson today. That if we stand up, we can defeat such people. Indomitable Indira Gandhi, indomitable Congress, you know, reduced to tatters. And we same politicians and voters got her back. So remember the power of democracy. Everything else is secondary.
Thank you, sir, for patiently answering all the questions. Everybody, please note that we shall be culminating with Vande Mataram.
Could I? Good evening, sir. So do you think, considering how far we've moved past and how strong our democracy has become in the last few years, do you think there is still a need for the provisions of Article 352 in the Constitution?
See, first of all, I also must say what I said so far, that the Sangha for last 100 years trying to instill that sense of citizenship, dharma, and need to, you know, stand with the society, stand for the society, for the nation at your own cost. That lesson is learned. That's why we are seeing changes in Bharat in last few years. So that is the hard work that RSS put in. As far as you are concerned, you said that whether 350 is still required. Yes, you never know. Remember the entire red corridor, which has been reduced to a few districts over last few years. It was there for last 70 years. You had, so when such forces arise, what do? You have jihadi violence everywhere. Suppose it goes beyond control, what do? Only risk is how do you use it? If there is a risk to democracy as per Indira Gandhi's views, there was no need to heap atrocities on the people, right? They could be arrested. There was no need to reach out to people sitting at home somewhere and catching their relatives, beating them, and where is your person? There was no need to arrest a lame teacher claiming that putting bombs on the railway track, who can't even run, can't walk. These are the kind of charges which are put up. Problem is not the law, it is how you misuse the law. Law is required. Now, for example, 356, which allows assemblies to be dissolved, which Indira Gandhi did scores of times. We don't do it. The current governments don't do it because the law was changed in 1976, after 1977, that dissolving the assembly or dismissing the government has become very difficult. You need XYZ kind of controls before you do that. So on one side, that has saved the state governments, whichever government is a state or the center. On the other side, there are cases like Bengal, where people demand president rules, not realizing the very day they'll go to Supreme Court and get a stay. That's the issue.
Thank you. Sir is available post this session, so you might ask the question directly. Any further questions from here? All please note, we shall culminate with our Vande Mataram song post the vote of thanks. As we come to the close of this thought-provoking evening, it's time to express our heartfelt gratitude. I would like to invite a respected member of Citizen Council, Ms. Raman to deliver the vote of thanks.
As Sir rightly said, vigilance is the price of democracy. It is our responsibility to ensure that history doesn't repeat itself. On behalf of all the office bearers and members of Citizens Council, I extend our sincere, heartfelt thanks to Dr. Ratan Sharda ji, erudite scholar, eminent political analyst, and a person of several accomplishments, for kindly accepting our invitation and gracing this event. May I now request Mr. Vasudev Kamath, President, Citizens Council, to kindly present the memento to Dr. Ratan Sharda ji as a token of our gratitude. Sir, thank you for igniting the quest for true knowledge in our minds this evening. Great ideas are indeed the fuel for great nation-building activities, and we are indebted to you for your words of wisdom that were truly enlightening. We sincerely thank Arbor Jewelers for their wholehearted and generous contributions and sponsorships in helping us successfully conduct great programs such as these. We sincerely thank the members of the press and media for their active participation. Many thanks to all our volunteers, the audiences of Mangaluru, the authorities of the TV Raman Pai Hall Auditorium, videographers, and each and every individual who has contributed directly and indirectly to the success of this program. We wish to have your continued support and patronage for all our future events too. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. This is your host, Monisha Shetty, signing off for this evening. I request everyone to please rise for Vande Mataram.
Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Sujalam Sufalam, Malayaj Sheetalam, Sasya Shamalam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram, Shubhra Jyotsna Pulakitayamini, Pullakusumita Drumadala Shobhini, Suhasini, Sumadura Bhashini, Sukhadam Varadam Mataram, Vande Mataram, Koti Koti Kantha Kala Kala Ninada Karale, Koti Koti Bhujaidrita Kara Karavale, Abala Keno Mae To Bale, Bahubaladharini, Namami Tarini, Ripudalavarini, Mataram, Vande Mataram, Vande Mataram. Tumi Vidya, Tumi Dharma, Tumi Hridi, Tumi Marma, Tvam hi prana sharire, Bahute Tumi ma Shakti, Hridaye Tumi ma Bhakti, Tomarai Pratima Gadi Mandire, Mandire, Vande Mataram, Tvam hi Durga Dasha Praharana Dharini, Kamala Kamaladala Viharini, Vani Vidyadaini, Namami Tvam, Namami Kamalam, Amalam Atulam, Sujalam Sufalam, श्यामलां सरलां सुस्मितां भूषितां धरणीं भरणीं मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरम्.
A very good evening. I request the volunteers to come on the stage to collect their certificate of appreciation. Naman.